located in your work area enough. Too many times we go in to do service work and we hear a lot from people. I hope you know where they are because we don't. And the reason why I say that is because when fire goes to open flame, and this is just an average statistic, it doubles in size every 30 seconds. And if you find yourself running around looking for the nearest extinguisher, it might make putting that primary stage fire out versus calling in the fire department to have them come in and effectively fight it and try to evacuate a building. So you don't want to find yourself in that scenario. You want to know where those extinguishers are located through your work area. If you're not sure, take a look around and see where they all are. A lot of times folks find out that they're no more than 10 feet from you. You just didn't notice it there, you know, because they kind of blend in after a while. You don't realize that they're there. So you want to make sure you know where they are. Also, the other thing I want to stress, and I can't stress enough, is keeping the extinguishers in areas that you could get at them. Too many times I have paper rolls, product, pallets. If they're located in corners, I get them mixed in with shovels and rakes and things of that nature. So you want to make sure they're accessible and ready to get at in a fire emergency at any time. Also, too, you want to make sure that you don't drape, and I have this happen a lot. It'll be hanging on the wall and somebody will drape a jacket or an apron over the top of it, or an extension cord or a hose, and you don't want to do that because then you don't even know that it's there, you know, so it's blocked from sight. So you want to make sure that they're visible and accessible once again. A lot of times too, folks, another reason that why this training is so important is because when you look at an extinguisher, folks get the impression that they got longer to use one than what they think, but these handheld portables are designed to deplete at a very rapid rate. The whole idea is to get as much chemical on the fire as quickly as possible to hopefully get that primary stage fire out. So basically, an extinguisher this size will deplete itself in 15 seconds. And the 10-pounders will deplete themselves in 25 seconds. This one here has a maximum effective range that you can put a fire out up to 14 feet. And the 10-pound extinguisher there up to 20 feet. I say that because these their extinguishers come in 4 sizes, 2.5s, which you'd find on your small equipment, and your forklifts, skidsters, things of that nature. The 5s we have up through the office areas normally, and your 10-pounders would be in your industrial areas along with some of your 20s in rendering. You have some 20s out there, you know. Yep, and we'll talk about that one. That's a CO2 unit in there. Yep, yep, and we're going to talk about that one. So basically, those are the 4 sizes that these extinguishers come in, and the 2 most common sizes, like I said, are the 5 and the 10. And you get an idea that they deplete themselves in a matter of seconds. And like I said, that's why the training is also, once again, so important, is for that reason. It's always good to know too what types of fires could occur at your facility. And with this facility, from what I know, because I've been in there, class A, B, C, and K. K because they have a kitchen here with a fixed suppression system, and a K class backing it up. The only classification of fire that you cannot have here would be your burning metals, because I don't believe they're doing any grinding or shaving of metals off on a lathe or anything like that, where you'd be dealing with magnesium and different types of metals like that. So out of the 5 classes of fire, you could have 4 of them here at this facility. So basically, too, I'll go over the classes of fire. Class A is common combustibles like wood and paper. B is flammable liquids, grease, gasoline, oil-based products, plastics. C is energized type fire, and basically what that means is if this extinguisher is used on an energized type fire, it won't follow it back to the source, you know. So, and then of course your Class K type extinguisher, which puts the fire out by basically depriving it of oxygen. It uses the animal fats in the cooking grease and turns into a foam, sealing out the oxygen, thus keeping the fire out, putting the fire out. And the monoammonium phosphate-based chemical in these extinguishers put the fire out in the same manner. They smother it. And the other thing is you need to get a lot of this chemical on the fire, a good coating of it, to effectively put the fire out. So basically, getting into the pass method now, that stands for pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. A lot of times I get folks that are pulling, trying to get the pin out of there and they can't. It's always a good idea just to give it a simple twist and then pull the pin out. Make sure you get that pin out of there, even if you got to throw it like a grenade pin, because too many times I get people that either use extinguishers or do the training, they forget that that pin is in there, and then they're squeezing really hard and they're like, it doesn't work, and then they bend it, and sometimes you can't get it out. Once again, if you've got to run 50 to 75 feet to the nearest extinguisher because you bent the pin in there and you can't get it out, might make the difference in putting that primary stage fire out or not. So you don't want to run into that situation. Basically, I've got 4 reasons why folks have problems getting the fire out. One is they don't aim correctly at the base of the flame. They either aim before the base or they're too high. So you want to make sure you got to do just about everything right to effectively get the fire out. So you want to make sure you aim at the base of the flame correctly. You want to make sure too that you follow through with a slow, steady sweep. A lot of folks are like this, and then what happens is that coating is too thin on the fire, and it might knock it down but not put it out. So you want to make sure you go with a slow, steady sweep. Also, you want to make sure you squeeze all the way down on these handles. I've had it happen when I was doing some training for a Bellin hospital that they didn't squeeze all the way down on the handle, because sometimes the older units have stronger springs than the newer ones, and it makes it hard, you know, to squeeze them down. But if you don't squeeze it all the way down, you're not going to get the full flow of chemical out, and it's going to be, once again, too thin, and you're going to knock the fire down but not necessarily put it out. So you want to make sure you squeeze that all the way down. And then 2, you want to make sure you follow all the way through. I get a lot of folks where they stop short thinking they got the fire out, and then it flares up on a perimeter edge or corner somewhere. So you want to make sure you do that. Basically, too, you always want to use the extinguisher in a straight upright position. I get a lot of folks, and I just had it happen a couple of weeks ago, where they had a fire up in the ceiling in a motor, and they were tipping it like this. You know, it's an easy